Hey leaders, we're super excited for Sunday. We're going to have the worship center all decked out for Wilderness Escape. If you have your shirts already, wear them on Sunday morning with us to get everybody involved and everybody excited about Wilderness Escape. If you are leaders and you have not registered, or you're a family and have not registered, get on to our Lake Church events page and register today. And also, on Monday morning, if you are leading, we are going to have a full walkthrough with worship and talking through everything that is going to happen Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're super excited for Wilderness Escape, and we're excited to see you on Sunday morning.
See you then!
Woo!
Howdy Connection Group leaders, happy Thursday. Hope y'all are doing well. As you can see, I've got my VBS shirt. If you don't have yours, you can still buy one on Sunday. In fact, go ahead and plan on doing that, and then you can jump in and wear them on Sunday as well. We're really excited about Wilderness Escape. It's going to be very, very cool, and so come and take part of that. It will be great. Guys, we've got a fantastic lesson this week. This material really is so good. I would say pay special attention to the additional notes it gives you about some Egyptian customs, and like all that stuff spot on, and it helps give clarity to your students about some of the actions that were being taken. So don't ignore those little side notes. Those are helpful. I'm going to give you at least one little side note today too that I think will be helpful. Before we do that though, I promised you just a couple of like tips and tricks that we're going to go over each week to hopefully encourage it and help you out as you're leading your connection group. And guys, this week's is really simple, but I think so important. And that's just this: get off campus. And I don't necessarily just mean on Sunday morning, although that might be a viable option for you. I just mean find ways for your group to meet off campus, especially during the summer. Have pool parties, meet at a restaurant, meet for a picnic, involve kids, but get together. That's always been important, but certainly post-COVID, that's incredibly important and truly helpful. It's going to help your fellowship aspect. And by the way, you don't have to get together for a Bible study. Like, just get together and enjoy each other. But that's going to be so helpful as you move forward. We certainly do this quite a bit in the student ministry, and I can't tell you how fruitful the Wednesday nights or the Sundays after we do some kind of a student event where we just get together and hang out and play together, how much fruitful they are. And part of that really is just because the students know that we care about them. That's not a teenager thing. That's a human thing. Folks just are more apt to dive into conversations and are better prepared and excited to share when they know they're cared about. So I encourage you, find some ways to do that this summer. It's going to be really good. Now, this week's lesson. I'd made the joke with my students because we studied this week with the Bible Study Together verse. Again, we're still in the middle of Exodus. I told my students, this is the reason why I am not a fan of the Longhorns, because God doesn't appreciate the worship of golden calves. Ha 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 ha. And I'm only half serious about that. I am, of course, an Aggie. But this is a phenomenal chapter. It's also a really sobering chapter. And one of the funniest things ever said in scriptures in this chapter too. But I hope you'll study just the chapter itself. And honest to goodness, if you just went through the chapter verse by verse, even without the material, you're going to be okay. But look at the material. It's really good stuff. But verse 1 is pivotal because it says, and the lesson does a little bit of this, but I really want to draw this out of you. It makes the statement, Moses led us out of Egypt, and he's gone now. So give us a God that can lead us. How quickly, guys, we're talking about less than 3 weeks after the Red Sea has been parted, that they're saying, Moses, not God, Moses led out of Egypt and he's gone, so give us a God that we can follow. That's just incredibly sad. Just to point out, and I hope that your group will linger on this, we so easily forget God. Not only God's work in our lives, but just we fail to acknowledge the things that he's done for us, and we're looking for other things to satisfy us. Now, I don't know that we'll ever verbally say, I'm looking for a new God, but we just leave God out of the equation. Oh, my political party's out of power. Oh, this thing that I used to really appreciate's gone now. I need something else. And we just leave God out of the equation. Don't do that personally, but talk about that with your class. I think that'd be really helpful. By the way, the golden calf, that wasn't random. That was actually meant to mimic or even model after the Egyptian god Apis, A-P-I-S. You can read about this a little bit if you want to. In fact, Mount Sinai, which is in Saudi Arabia, it's not just that there was a golden calf there. There are actually a number of carvings and drawings on the mountain, on stones around the mountain, of the false god Apis as well. The thing that you need to know about Apis was this: it wasn't just a random god, and it wasn't just that he was the god of bulls. He was an intermediary god. In other words, he was the god that you went to get to talk to the other gods for you, the really, really big gods. This was a strategic move on Aaron's part. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to go back to the God that I saw the Egyptians, who seemed to have pretty good lives. I'm going to go back to the gods that they interacted with to get some direction here. This is a really, really sad move, but again, it's so easy to fall into idol worship, and it's so easy to follow the customs of other people who seem to be doing okay. So point that out to your folks. And again, if you want to study Apis, that's great, but that's really what you need to know about him. Other stuff going on. The actions going on as the idol worship's happening. Dr. Ross, one of my favorite seminary teachers, pointed out to me, and I don't know that I ever would have equated this. He said what happened at Woodstock is very, very similar to what was happening around Sinai. And the thing that he pointed out by this that I think is fascinating is he said, here are these group of people that were set apart and they were holy, and like on a dime, they switched over to acting the way that they were, which again, similar actions to what was happening at Woodstock, much like the actions of what was happening to the people that congregated at Woodstock. Like, there were Christian kids that showed up there. When idol worship takes over, man, it's no holds bars and anything can happen. And so we've got to recognize that too. When we start to take God out of the equation, sometimes even just a little bit out of our lives, bad stuff can begin to happen. This is the very natural occurrences that follow when we start to take God out of the equation of our lives. So I just thought that was interesting. You can point that out. You can have those discussions. The next thing I think is worth pointing out too is the fact that prayer works. Moses interceded on the behalf of his people and just said, God, forgive these people for what they've done. And the Lord did. When we intercede for people, God hears our prayers. And so don't ever downplay those prayers. Keep offering those prayers. God hears them. Be encouraged by that too. I kind of laugh when I read about Moses grounding up the golden calf and pouring it in water and then making people drink it. It reminded me of the time that my parents washed my mouth out with soap whenever I decided to give profanity a chance in my life. I think I was, 6 or 7. That's the only time I remember using profanity at home after that. Nowhere does it say that God told Moses to do that. It's just kind of a sign of this is what we do out of our own anger, just like him breaking the tablets. And so it's worth considering. It was not a God-inspired consequence, but this was the natural consequence of idol worship. When your kids act up, you get angry, and you may do things that God didn't intend to do, but nonetheless, that was a consequence for your kids' action. It doesn't mean that it's okay, but it just goes to show that this is what sin does, not only in our own lives personally, but it affects those around us in really, really negative ways. And the last thing I would remind your class, and I hope you'll spend some time on this, guys, idol worship happens so easily, and it's not hard to fall into it at all. And it's not just about bowing down to some statue or a false religion. It really can just be this thing that we've been elevated into a position that's more important than God, or this thing that we trust a little bit more than God, or this thing that we spend a lot more time on than we do even a little bit when we spend with God. And that's what idol worship looks like in our day. So kick that around Sunday morning, encourage each other Sunday morning, and then again, find some time to get together outside of your classes and worship God together. Guys, we love y'all. We can't wait to see you on Sunday. Again, go get you a shirt, and let's have a great wilderness escape. Bye.